Greetings, friends. I'm Joyce, and this is Joyce's Voice. I'm going to be reading the first chapter of Jane Eyre. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. We had been wandering, indeed, in the leafless shrubbery an hour in the morning. But since dinner, Mrs. Reed, when there was no company, dined early. The cold winter wind had brought with it clouds so somber and a rain so penetrating that further outdoor exercise was now out of the question. I was glad of it. I never liked long walks, especially on a chilly afternoon. Dreadful to me was the coming home in the raw twilight with nipped fingers and toes and a heart saddened by the chidings of Bessie, the nurse, and humbled by the consciousness of my physical inferiority to Eliza, John, and Georgina Reed. The said Eliza, John, and Georgiana were now clustered around their mamma in the drawing room. She lay reclined on a sofa by the fireside, and with her darlings about her, for the time either quarreling or not crying, looked perfectly happy. Me, she had dispensed from joining the group, saying she regretted to be under the necessity of keeping me at a distance, but that until she heard from Bessie and could discover by her own observation that I was endeavoring in good and earnest to acquire a more sociable and childlike disposition, a more attractive and sprightly manner, something lighter, franker, more natural, as it were, she really must exclude me from privileges intended only for the contented, happy little children. What does Bessie say I have done? I asked. Jane, I don't like cavillers or questioners. Besides, there is something truly foreboding in a child taking up her elders in that manner. Be seated somewhere, and until you can speak pleasantly, remain silent. The small breakfast room adjoined the drawing room. I slipped in there. It contained a bookcase. I soon possessed myself of a volume, taking care that it should not be one stored with pictures. I mounted into the window seat. Gathering up my feet, I sat cross-legged like a Turk, and having drawn the green Morin curtain close, I was shrined in double retirement. Folds of scarlet drapery shut in my view to the right hand, and to the left were the clear panes of glass, protecting, but not separating me from the drear November day. At intervals, while turning over the leaves of my book, I studied the aspect of the winter afternoon. Afar it offered a pale blank of mist and cloud, a scene of wet lawn and storm-beat shrub, with ceaseless rain sweeping away wildly before a long and lamentable blast. I returned to my book, Bewick's History of the British Birds. The letterpress thereof I cared little for, generally speaking, and yet there were certain introductory pages that, child as I was, I could not pass quite as blank. They were those with treat of haunts of seafowl, of solitary rocks and promontories, by them only inhabited, off the coast of Norway, studded with isles from its southern extremity, the Lindens, or Nays, to the northern cape, where the northern ocean in vast whirls boils round the naked melancholy isles of farthest Thule, and the Atlantic surge pours in among the stormy Hebrides. Nor could I pass unnoticed the suggestion of the bleak shores of Lapland, Siberia, Nova Zembla, Iceland, Greenland, and with the vast sweep of the Arctic zone and those forlorn regions of a dreary space, that reservoir of frost and snow where firm fields of ice, the accumulation of centuries of winters, glazed in alpine heights, above heights, around the pole, and center the multiple rigors of extreme cold. Of these death-white realms I formed an idea of my own, shadowy, like all the half-comprehended notions that float dim through a children's brain, but strangely impressive. The words in his introductory pages connected themselves with the succeeding vignettes and gave significance to the rock standing up alone in a sea of billow and spray, to the broken boat stranded on desolate coast, to the cold and ghastly moon gazing through bars of a cloud at the wreck just sinking. I cannot tell what sentiment hunted that quite solitary churchyard with its inscribed headstone, its gate, its two trees, its low horizon, girded by a broken wall, and its newly risen crescent attesting the hour of eventide.